Welcome to the Sailor Noob podcast, where a superfan and a noob talk about the original Sailor Moon episode by episode. I'm your host, Mikan Hana, joined by my co-host.
I'm the co-host and the noob, name of Caliban, and birthdays were the worst days. Now we sip champagne when we thirsty. Baby.
I'm just thinking of, hey shorty, it's my birthday.
We go from Biggie to...
Oh,
the 50 Cent.
Oh, this.
That's how we go down.
Okay.
If he's 50 Cent, Biggie's like $20 bill.
Oh, at least. Okay. All right.
Is there a rapper named $20 Bill? There's got to be.
I don't, probably.
If there's a guy named Bill.
Yeah, probably.
And he's worth $20.
Yes. Well, we're a couple of magical people ready to move cosmic power.
You know what to expect at this point.
Ready to make up this episode. Today we are talking about episode number 101. Usagi Namida, Tanjoubi ni Garasu no Kutsuo in Japanese. Usagi in Tears, a glass slipper for my birthday, the English translation, and the English title, Birthday Blues, Part 1.
I refuse to engage. First 100 episodes, good structure, nice intro, clean. Second 100, it's all over the map. And also, I refuse to be provoked by blues anymore.
Cloverway, at this point, we're not even 15 episodes in, and they're like, crap.
Oh man, Cloverway didn't show up today.
Yeah, we're
like short-staffed.
They're like, all of my ideas for titles have just gone out the window, and I think we talked about this before. Yeah, they're just looking off at Deke's homework.
We're on a journey with them.
Yeah,
you know, a lot of Einstein failed math. It's not true.
I was going to say what?
True. But I mean, like,
don't say stuff like that to me, because I will
George Bush
you.
was, just a drunk, who couldn't run a baseball team, and he became president of the United States. So what I'm saying is that Cloverway could get us into two unjust wars, but also, it's like okay. I had a English professor in college. He didn't say this about me. He didn't say it about me.
Okay.
He said about one of my fellow students who did well that you were like the Millennium Falcon. At first I was like, starting off not good, but then you took off. He's probably dead now, is how all my stories need to end. But anyway, unlike Cloverway, we are like the cars in the Fast and the Furious. We have never lost a race, and we only get stronger.
That's
right.
And
now we're in space. Much like Biggie.
Yes.
It was all a dream. We used to read Word Up magazine. Salt and Pepper, Heavy D up in the limousine.
Oh my gosh. A lot of lyrics today. All right.
I got to make up for Cloverway.
Warm up. Yeah, they didn't even show up, like you said. It's just like a cardboard sign that says Cloverway on it.
Just sort of wobbles, then boom, falls over.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing back there. Yeah.
Yep. Uh-huh.
Well, you know who did show up?
Who?
Our listeners.
All right.
They showed up in droves to help us out for our Q&A episode last week. And thank you to everyone who submitted your great questions to make our show possible. And thanks again to all the patrons for their support for making the entire thing possible. That was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. And I hope that we'll get to do it again sometime in the future. And yeah, a huge thank you again to our patrons. It's... we're so pleased and happy that you like our show and that you want more. So
would Vin Diesel ever say that?
No.
Vin Diesel must, right?
No, he doesn't, because he invites The Rock to come back, but in a snide kind of way.
His tight leather jacket off. Because the leather jacket now isn't like a Fonzie leather jacket. It's fitted, tailored.
Sure.
And then he's like, it's all for the fans, woo! He's got arm butter. The jacket slides off.
Yeah, God.
I just want to say thank you to the fans. I haven't done a Vin in a while.
No, you haven't.
Yeah, that was not very good.
I think he would more likely say, thank you to the fam. I
got family.
Yeah, exactly.
It sounds like a Muppet that lives, if Oscar the Grouch was subletting.
Too funny.
Yeah, that sounds like like a Muppet that would live with Oscar the Grouch. Anyway, point is, that was getting lost. Thanks to the listeners.
Yes, we really appreciate
If you want to join the team and become one of our senshi
Yes.
on our Patreon, you can go to patreon.com/Sailor Noob and join the show there. And I've already got everything. It's funny. I wrote it up already. And I went to the Patreon page, and I can't figure out how to update our goals because
What?
I think Patreon set up the infrastructure for accepting people's money and then taking their cut of it, and then just went, the UI's fine. So sometimes it's a little confusing. So once I can figure out how to actually change our goals, we'll have a new goal. The new target is 100. And when we reach that goal, we start making videos.
There you go.
What form that takes?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a journey that we're all going on together.
That is correct.
But they won't be Cloverway level of effort. This is going to be full Vin Diesel, slimy jacket level of effort.
Right, and they'll have clever titles. They won't be something blues. So if that's something that you want to see, head on over to our Patreon page.
Clever titles like Fast 5.
Well, that's true. I mean, when we're talking about clever.
Of the Furious, and Fate rhymes with 8, and this is the 8th one.
Right.
Or the next one,
yes.
Fast and Furtenius.
Which is like, you're trying so
That's
hard.
Gonna happen.
Okay, I will, maybe we should make a bet, like, if it's going to happen or not. Maybe I'll give you $1 if it happens or something.
Well, I won't have any dollars unless people support us on Patreon. So if that sounds good to you, check out our Patreon at patreon.com/Sailor Noob.
Well, let's get this birthday started off right. Cal, tell us what happens in this episode.
How do you get the birthday started off right? What?
Jesus.
Girl, you know I. Okay, that's something else. Yeah, let's do it. Let's just get into this thing here. We open on the basement lab, and once again, or maybe again for the first time, we see the nearly endless number of test tubes, all containing demon eggs, and suggesting, perhaps, that there are an endless number of foes that potentially face the Sailor Senshi. Mm-hmm. Dr. Giggles asks Kaorinite if she has found the next target. She says, yes, and this time, I'm positive this is the one.
Uh-huh.
Forget all those other times.
Right.
This is a 99.4% pure heart. Good stuff. And he says, oh, well, then I'll give you my greatest demon. He says, you are my only hope, Kaorinite. And she says, thanks.
This is just Obi-Wan. You're my only hope. So there you go. Do you think it's a Star Wars reference?
Would be if Princess Leia put an egg into R2-D2 and he turned into a sexy white and blue robot. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Let's get C-3PO a girlfriend.
Okay.
Or a friend.
Just a friend.
I don't want to assume anything about C-3PO.
No, but I'd like to see some art of that, a sexy R2-D2.
It exists.
Yes.
Cut to June 30th. It's Usagi Sakino's birthday.
That's right.
And all the girls are not impressed. They're in the park, and Ami says, oh, you can start acting your age now, which that's coming from her. Red hot burn coming from her. Mm-hmm. Usagi can't figure out why they're being so cold or so hot. And all the girls get up to leave, and they say, well, look, birthday or no, don't be late for our study session. And Usagi cries tears. Grown up, 1 year older tears. Mm-hmm. Later in the Juban shopping district, Usagi, who is she's not trolling for birthday gifts. I don't even know why she's here.
Yeah, right.
She sees a pair of green crystal slippers in a shop window, like glass shoes, I guess. Seems impractical.
Yeah, it does.
Seems dangerous.
It does.
And watching her from across the street is Kaorinite.
And
Usagi, and I really wanted her to be like behind a newspaper, and then like it folds down and she's
that would have been fantastic.
Yeah. Usagi really wants these slippers that she saw 10 seconds ago for the first time.
Yep.
And like a real adult, she has a fantasy about her prince bringing her glass slipper.
Yes.
A la Cinderella.
Yeah.
And she thinks, I'll have my prince buy them for me.
Yep.
A little later, we see Haruka and Michiru having tea at a tea shop, and they see Usagi tearing ass through the shopping district. She's meeting Mamo, and she grabs him by the arm, and he's like, why are you so excited? And she's like, oh, he knows. He's just messing with me. Lovers are more important than friends anyway. And he has just this look like she's on fire.
I
She's like, ah. The chemistry between these two is palpable.
Oh,
It's always
come
best
on.
couple. Always seen them as a great thing. She says, "I want some glass slippers for my prince," and he's like, "What is this code?"
I don't know what you're talking about.
But it's the 90s, so he can't get his phone out, look up on Urban Dictionary. So she tells him about the glass slippers that she saw, and she's like, "Come on, buy it, buy it, buy it, buy it."
I know.
And starts to drag him away as Kaorinite watches from a phone booth. See, that's a classic one, the
Yes.
phone booth one. Do you think they go on shopping sprees? This is very presumptuous. Now, we know that he is, well off financially.
Right.
Probably from his parents' untimely demise.
Uh-huh.
He's got a nice bike. He's got a nice car.
Yes.
And she's just very ready to just drag him to where all the shops are. So I'm positing this has happened before.
Well, I'm positing that she definitely asks him for things, not necessarily specifically just on her birthday and for special occasions.
Oh, no, I'm not saying that she's spoiled necessarily. But there's a lot of presumption in her. Well,
Let's
what
go
day
buy
it is.
it.
Let's go. Come on.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I know.
And he says, wait a minute. Christmas is a long way off. So maybe this happened on Christmas. And she says, yeah, but today is. And he's like, today. Yeah, right, today. Yeah, it's the anniversary of the day we first met.
Right.
Smack! She hits him across the face. She says, "No, you dolt!" and runs off. Later in the park, she's sitting on a fountain. She's crying.
Mm-hmm.
And a voice says, "What's wrong, bunhead?" And it's Haruka and Michiru.
Yes.
Michiru hands her a handkerchief, and Usagi empties her nose into it. It's like, keep it. Usagi tells them what happened, and they're like, can't believe he forgot your birthday. That's awful. And Usagi's like, he's not my boyfriend anymore. And Haruka leans in like, so I guess I have a chance now?
Uh-huh.
But she's just messing with her. She's not serious about it. So I don't know. We hear Katy Perry's I Kissed a Girl play in a passing car or something like that. Michiru's like, you're going to do this right now? And Haruka jokes, it's not a joke. I quite adore Bunhead. And Usagi's like, okay, raise. I have to get to raise to study. I'm out of here.
Yes.
And she tears off. And Haruka's like, she's cute. And Michiru's like, okay, stop scaring the straights. She could have a talisman.
Mm-hmm.
And Haruka thinks, no. A lot of people not really picking up on what's going to be in the second half of this episode.
Yeah, I know.
The phone rings at Hikawa's shrine, and Rei picks it up, and it's Mamoru looking for Usagi. And he's like, I don't know why she's upset. And Rei is immediately like, okay, I get it. This is just like you. You don't care about anybody's feelings.
Uh-huh.
Maybe there's something personal behind this.
I feel like there is
Yeah.
because they used to date, and this is a reminder of that.
Yeah, I think so. She's like, it's her birthday. And he's like, oh, birthday, of course, yeah. It's early evening, and Usagi walks dejectedly up the stairs like George Michael going to see the Maharishi. Just a sitar playing Christmas Time is Here. And that is not on the internet.
No.
No, an hour later, I know that's not on the internet, but I looked. She says, I feel bad about what I did to Mamo. It's the slap heard round Juban.
Yes, I know.
She goes inside saying that she's sorry she's late, and surprise! Everybody wishes her happy birthday. We got the idea from your daughter from the apocalyptic future. She always falls for this. It's a good thing they sprung the trap before she transformed into Black Old Lady.
Stop it.
Remember Black Lady?
Yes, I remember Black Lady.
I forgot all about Black Lady.
Yeah.
But if Usagi transformed into Black Lady, she'd be a Black Old Lady.
Oh,
it's a
okay.
party. Mako's like, I made all this food. And Ami says, this is from all of us. It's a collection of popular test questions. And Usagi's like, thanks. And Rei's like, start having fun. And Mako and Mina are like, yeah, let's jam. Meanwhile, it's getting late. Mamoru is hurrying to the shoe/jewelry store, I guess.
Unclear.
I don't know where you would buy these things.
Yeah.
But Kaorinite is already there, putting an egg into the glass slippers, which also sounds like an Urban Dictionary thing. Or like a Grimm's fairy tale, the
Very
princess with
grim.
the egg in her shoes.
Yes.
She's dressed as a clerk. Actually, she knocked out or killed a clerk, and the body
Yep.
is lying behind the counter
Yep.
as Mamoru runs in to buy the slippers. And I'm guessing as a man, he doesn't go shopping for shoes very often because he's not fazed at all by the fact that they're just right there.
I know.
She just got them right on the counter, ready to go.
I know.
Maybe he thinks that Usagi, once again, maybe there's a history, a pattern here. She had them like hold on to them, because her boyfriend would be there later. I don't know. But he's here to buy them.
Yes.
He understands that.
Right.
And he does. And as he comes out of the store, Kaorinite comes out and watches him go before disappearing. And hiding behind their own phone booth are Haruka and Michiru watching them both.
Yeah.
You couldn't do this in the age of cell phones.
No, I know.
Everybody would just be looking at each other across the street. Oh, there they are. And they say, that was Kaorinite. He might be our next target.
Yeah.
But he's a size 10.5, though, so I think we're safe on this one. Back at Hikawa's shrine, Usagi is blowing out 15 candles on her cake, and the girls wish her a meneto.
Yes.
Which is congrats.
Yes.
Usagi seems sad, though, and Ami says, what's wrong, Usagi? Usagi says, well, I slapped Mamo, and the girls are like,
I know.
And Ray says, it's because he forgot your birthday, right? Okay, that's what it is.
Yeah.
He forgot Ray's birthday. When is Ray's birthday? We have to do the backtracking on that. But anyway, and Ray says, well, okay, he didn't forget. He just didn't know. Not better.
Uh-huh.
But then I guess we turn it into Usagi's fault because she never told him what day it was. Is that how these things work? Isn't there a grand tradition of asking a girl's friends about her favorite things, or stalking her on Facebook to see where she lives, looking through her underwear drawer to figure out her sizes?
Whoa.
Isn't that how this is really supposed to go?
That escalated quickly.
Usagi would agree with me, I think.
Oh my goodness.
Because she says, if you're really in love, you'd realize something like that.
Uh-huh.
And then the show assassinates her character.
I know.
By have her completely not know when Mamo's birthday is.
Yes.
Actually, come to think of it, I can totally believe that she wouldn't know. So maybe the show's off the hook on that one. She says, well, October 10th is Health and Sports Day.
Mm-hmm.
And it's my birthday.
I know.
Which is just a little side fact.
Uh-huh.
But why did she bring this up? Because the next thing she says is December 25th is Christmas. Here's a couple scenarios.
Mm-hmm.
They make everybody run and climb the rope on Health and Sports Day.
They do.
So like a cat going to the vet, she fears that. Or Mamo likes sports. So maybe she always knows that he's going to be in the toothpaste sweats running around on October 10th.
I think it's...
Otherwise, why is this... I understand why Christmas is significant to her,
Yes.
but why is this significant to her?
I think it's... She's listing established holidays.
But
or
yeah,
established day. Yes.
Not like the
I
New
know.
Year.
I know. And I think it's supposed to be funny, right? Because one is sports day and the next one is Christmas.
Sailor V's birthday.
Right. No, she doesn't know any of her friends'
Not
birthdays. I can
Japanese
guarantee it.
National Independence Day or
No,
whatever
no,
they've got.
No.
Yeah. It's
No.
October 10th, December 25th. All the bases are covered.
Right.
She says, you know what? I don't know when it is. I'm going to go apologize.
Uh-huh.
And she ran off before like a cartoon character, but she gets like blurry Roadrunner wheel legs and she blasts off presumably to find Mamo.
Yeah.
Mamo is running to her with his gift and they meet and embrace in front of a construction site.
It's so romantic.
A classic anime battle backdrop, as you have pointed out. And as you have pointed out, something that we probably shouldn't see as much as we do in anime. There should be tarps all over this, right?
Because, it's usually covered. Yeah.
He says, let's see if the slipper fits, which I know is part of the Cinderella thing, but I hope they fit. He spent enough on them.
Yeah.
As soon as she puts her foot in the shoe, it flashes with blinding light and transforms into Cenicienta, who is a hulking crystal demon.
Yes.
And she's got like a Roman gladiator's outfit on,
Yes.
or like a stripper version of one.
Right.
You know what she looks like? There were these crappy action figures in like the 80s called the Saga of Crystar. And it was sort of, they still do this today kind of, but like it was really like, really exciting for a kid to get a figure that was clear, see-through.
Sure. I can
And
get that.
It worked out for the manufacturers because all you have to do is make the plastic clear and then you don't have to paint it or do anything else to it. So, we could bilk these little kids. So they had like a line of figures that were like, this is Gemstone Man and this is Feldspar. And they're all just different colors of gem-colored plastic.
Right.
Yeah, that's what this reminds me of.
Okay. Yeah, I know you could charge just as much as the painted figures. They're
More even.
Yeah, right. They're special.
Senny says, I'll take your pure... She has a really high voice, which is funny because she's
love
very,
it.
like this huge hulking woman.
Yes.
I'll take your pure heart, which yearns for that man. Purely. It's a pure yearning. And Usagi's like, what? And Mamoru, not the superhero tuxedo mask, Mamoru, runs at the demon, and she knocks his body, which contains no superpowers, back through a chain link fence.
Yep.
Maybe he should have turned into Tuxedo Mask. That's what I'm saying.
Probably.
She pins Usagi against a building, and Usagi furiously kicks her in the face with her non-superpowered dolly shoes.
Mm-hmm.
She seems to understand that she's missing something, and she takes out her brooch and says, "Moon cosmic power!" But Cenicienta knocks the brooch from her hand. And then she does something cool. She's kind of like crystal or glass or something. So she's got glass powers, and she phases the upper part of Usagi's body through the window glass behind her and then leaves her there trapped.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
We see Uranus and Neptune appear in a nearby alley watching this, and Ceni flexes her arm, and her star tattoo appears on her bicep.
Yes.
Which is a relief. You always wonder with these demons that aren't wearing much, just where the star is going to be. But we're okay, everybody.
Yes.
It's just Rosie the Riveter here.
That's right.
She fires a beam into Usagi's chest, and Uranus and Neptune debate whether they should stop this. Neptune says, "You look like you wouldn't know what to do if she had a crystal." But they're silent as Usagi's heart crystal emerges, and it's extremely bright.
Yes.
Uranus is ready to run out and take it, but Neptune says, "You know that if that is a talisman, we have to take it, and she could die."
Yep.
It's like, are you helping me or trying to make it worse? What's going on here?
Well, I think it real talk.
Just for the audience.
Right. Well, it's for the audience, and it's for Haruka to not do anything drastic, because I think sometimes Haruka is just like is ready
they're
to
both
act
kind of
first.
Yeah.
You know?
They're both kind of been throwing the ball back and forth in terms of like, how worried are we about having to kill 3 people to get this Holy Grail?
Right. Pretty worried, but I think Haruka seems to not really worry unless it's somebody she cares about, and then she might be kind of, I don't know.
Oh, we're close. Maybe we should get these 2 together.
Yeah.
Then she's safe. As the crystal floats towards Cenicienta's hand, a red rose flies over her head, shaking her grip and sending the crystal back into Usagi. The glass behind her breaks, freeing her, and the arm of a crane overhead swings around to reveal Tuxedo Mask. Okay, who's operating this crane?
I know.
Did he throw a rose at the move left lever?
Probably. Let's say yes.
I know. Maybe C. Thomas Howell from The Amazing Spider-Man is there.
What?
Remember the finale of The Amazing Spider-Man?
I don't know if I do.
You know, in the 2001 post 9/11 one.
Oh my God.
You know, that epic, iconic scene where a Spider-Man fights the Green Goblin on the bridge.
Yes.
And I can't remember if it's the George Washington Bridge or the Brooklyn Bridge. And then Gwen falls off and he catches her, but, you know, she breaks her neck. Well, in this one, a bunch of New Yorkers come to his aid. You mess with him, you mess with all of us. Right?
Right.
So they had to do that again because they're just asleep at the wheel at Sony. And so he's hurt. And he can't, his leg is hurt, so he can't swing all the way to the tower to stop the lizard. So C. Thomas Howell, you know, the Soul Man, is a crane operator, and he gets on his rig. You know, how all crane operators, you know, operate at 11 p.m. at night. And he's like, all right, listen, everybody, put your cranes, get them all out. Get your cranes out over Broadway. And that means that Spider-Man can swing from crane to get to the tower.
Okay, wow.
Those are some stupid movies.
I was going to say I need to rewatch those.
But only slightly less stupid than Tuxedo Mask being able to operate a crane with his mind.
I love it, though.
He says, a pure heart is a ray of light on the dark night. So not Spider-Man then, I guess. The Dark Knight, I was wrong. I will be the protector of that light. A light night. Or a night light. And he leaps down and surrounds Cenicienta with roses, which create a barrier trapping her. That's a new one. Where'd he get that from?
I love that. Yeah.
He grabs Usagi and they leap to a nearby roof. He says, quick, transform! But she left her brooch behind. On the street, Kaorinite tells the demon to go after them, and she sees Usagi's brooch on the ground and picks it up. And atop the building, Usagi and TM see this. There's nothing they can do. Mm-hmm. Tuxedo Mask says, I'm sorry I got you into this. If only somebody hadn't reminded me that it was your birthday. They begin leaping across the buildings, but Cenicienta follows them doggedly. They open up one of the doors. They run down some stairs, like a lot, like a Ghostbusters amount of stairs they're running down. But Cenicienta just becomes skinny and jumps down that space in the middle of the stairwell. Like a glassy Batman.
Yes.
So it is the Dark Knight. In the parking garage, Kaorinite appears in their path and stops them and says, there's nowhere to run. Mm-hmm. And Cenicienta busts in behind them. Usagi starts to call Luna on her watch, but Kaori whips her hair like Willow Smith and smashes the watch off Usagi's wrist.
Yes.
In the shadows, Uranus and Neptune are waiting, and Neptune says, are you sure you're okay with this? And Uranus doesn't seem okay, but she says, sacrifices need to be made.
Yep.
Back at the shrine, the girls are finishing Usagi's cake. Oh, they're having a good time. Oh, should we have? Oh, boy, I had so much cake. Was it okay that we ate this cake?
It's like, you guys, no. First of all, no. Second of all, you know how she feels about food. You should have at least saved her a piece.
I feel like in the past, a lot of things are suggested by this episode. She's eaten a lot of their cakes in the past, probably. So this is just payback time.
Oh, gosh.
On Usagi's birthday, you eat the cake.
Oh, my goodness.
And they're thinking, I bet she's having a great time with Memora right now. Screams. And Ami says, this formula is really difficult. So, just, same thing.
Yep.
Right.
Typical.
Remember how we said that like she was getting more of a character than just being the math joke go-to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll see if that
We're
comes
going
back.
back to that.
We'll see if that comes back.
Yeah.
Just then they get a call from Luna saying Usagi's in trouble, and they spring into action. Back in the garage, Tuxedo Mask is guarding Usagi, and he says, when I say run, you make a break for it. And he leaps out to confront the bad guys. Kaori says, Cenicienta, take care of him. And the demon turns her arm into a sword, which Tuxedo Mask blocks with his cane, and they have a sword-cane fight as Usagi looks on. Tuxedo Mask is holding his own, and he says, okay, go! But Usagi doesn't want to leave. But she has to. She makes a break for it, and Kaorinite blocks her way. Tuxedo Mask gets distracted, and Sendy knocks him down. And Kaori says, oh, is this your perch? Is this your little perch? Huh? I guess I'll step on it. She says, let me have your pure heart, or... Step. Just a high heel shoe down on that thing. Just then,
it.
Tuxedo Mask breaks Cenicienta's crystal arm, and he runs to Usagi's aid, but the demon breathes crystals at his butt and the rest of his body, trapping him in glass. And Kaorinite is having a great time, and Uranus and Neptune are hesitating to interfere as the bad guys laugh uproariously, and the episode ends.
To be continued. Well, I guess...
That was a weird way to end the series.
Yeah,
I didn't think
know.
it was going to be an ending like that. But yeah, it was going to start.
Yeah.
There's more next week.
I feel like there's a lot happening in this episode. I know we've got Usagi's birthday and the celebration of that, and then we've got Cinderella imagery running all throughout, but I just kind of feel like it's not really... Like, what is the story we're trying to tell here? Like, I mean, her heart appears to be more pure than those we've seen so far. At least it's bright and it's shiny.
Well, of course it is. And her name's on the show.
I know.
I would be okay with it not being necessarily. Do you know what I mean? Are the Japanese, sidebar question.
Yeah.
Or we're just actually discussing the episode. So
yes.
Bring it back to the main bar. Are the Japanese obsessed with, like, purity maybe doesn't translate the whole way, but they're obsessed with like the kind of virtue, be it like the warrior's virtue or like a nobility.
Yeah.
Are they obsessed with that?
Well,
or do they want to see that in their media? Because I'm thinking of somebody like Goku, who literally has a magical cloud that only the pure of heart can ride. And so in a world full of Z warriors and friends and enemies, he's like one of the only people that can ride this because he's so pure. And we kind of know that from the show because, let's face it, Goku is not cursed with a vast intellect. But you can be dumb and evil.
Yeah.
He's just kind of dumb and, open-hearted and trusting, and he's a pure person. And I don't, and I mean this constructively, I don't think that is necessarily Usagi. Usagi can be... we all know she's a good person, whatever that means. But she can be vain. She can be selfish.
That's true.
She can be gluttonous.
Definitely. But Goku can be gluttonous too, can't he?
Well, I mean, I don't think he's going to take... He eats a lot of food.
Yeah.
But he has to. It's for magic.
I get it.
He fights all the time.
It's for stamina, so it doesn't mean he's not gluttonous then.
Is that... Okay, all right. So that's what Usagi's doing. She's eating...
She's hungry. She's a superhero.
Because her moon power requires her to eat? Okay, well, all right. I'll give you that one.
Yeah.
And I think it's because Goku never changes. You can do main characters a lot of different ways. And one of the ways you can do it is this character will never change. They are the person that we follow. I think a lot of animes like this.
Yeah.
And they may increase in power. A lot of animes like that.
Yep.
But we always know that he's going to be Hokage or whatever, or they're, this is the good guy and they're going to win every time.
Right.
And then there's the thing where it's like this character starts off and they're maybe just 14 years old and a bit of a crybaby.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
Right.
And then they end somewhere else because they've been through a lot. They've persevered and they've learned a ton of lessons.
Yes.
So, like, I'm fine with it being, her being one of the talismans if that's where we end up.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be kind of boring without the title character for the next 25 episodes if she dies. But my take is like, I don't think she should be one.
Okay. To go back
Plus,
to
aren't children pure? Why don't they just
Not
go find
always.
3 kids? Yeah, I guess some of the kids we've seen on this show
some of them are horrible.
suck.
Yeah.
But anyway.
So,
Let's go to daycare and just bing, bing, bing.
okay.
We did it.
No,
Where's the grail?
No Aelin on, like, plots, okay?
I miss Aelin on so much.
I know.
Let's check in on those guys.
But, okay, so going back to the purity thing, I think it's just a huge part of Japanese culture that just flows through a lot of different things, largely because of Shintoism. And, like, I think a lot of it goes back to the Shintoism creation myth where Izanagi, after visiting Izanami in the underworld, he purifies himself in the water and, erases or cleanses himself of all, everything impure. So I think that just runs through so many things. And then you when you go to visit a shrine and a temple, because Shintoism and Buddhism are very much linked, you wash your hands and drink water before entering because you're purifying yourself. That's a huge part of it.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. Once again, you're just talking about literal purity. I mean, I guess I didn't mean, whether my feet are clean or not. I'm just saying, the idea of... Because in America, we have... How many characters does... Oh, this is maybe a bad choice. But how many characters has Jean-Claude Van Damme played? Where he is a disgraced blank.
Yeah, I know.
Has blank.
Uh-huh.
And he's, again... Bad choice because he's like the Goku of all his movies. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Remember that movie End of Days where he's like eating chow mein and pizza, a shake, and he's like a drunk because his wife died or whatever.
Yeah.
We still like that character. And spoilers for the End of Days, but he has to die at the end because apparently you can't just get a new wife. Not that you forget your old wife, but I'm just saying, I'm saying, like, we in America we have that thing of like, this guy's he's a bad guy. We love gangster movies.
Yep.
We love morally flexible cowboy movies.
We love anti-heroes.
Noir anti-heroes.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like they've picked up on that, but I feel like a lot of their heroes in the past are like, this samurai.
Yes.
Killed himself immediately after he finished his task because that's what he said he was going to do. Right.
Just the purest of hearts, the most pure intentioned characters that we follow. Yeah. No, I would agree with that. I think it's valued.
Yeah. And the samurai I was talking about was Tom Cruise.
Because of course.
Because he's the best samurai.
We know this. Yeah. That movie told us so.
He just went, that's neat, that sword. I think I could do that. And then he just did it.
Yeah.
He was
the best one.
Samurai. And he was the last one, too.
Bookend.
That's what really pisses me off about that film when you realize that they're not talking about Ken Watanabe's character who was based on a historical figure. They don't mean he's not the last samurai. Tom Cruise is now the last samurai.
Yeah.
Because all the other ones died. I'm ruining a lot of movies today. All the other ones died, but he was there to go like... So that's rough. That's a sad end.
Yeah.
But they taught me all the stuff, so I'm the last samurai.
I know.
It's
like no, I don't. I had a hard time liking that character. Speaking of characters that you're supposed to like,
but what is he? He's a drunk who killed a lot of Native Americans and feels bad about it. He hooks up with Ken Watanabe, say the name right, and he learns to samurai, and he's like. It's not comfortable clothes. This is nice. They got that little fountain that goes boop. It fills up with water.
Yes.
And it goes boop. Spills the water out.
Right.
It's I can like it here, I think.
Uh-huh.
You keep your horseless carriages.
I know. I just
There's not much to talk about with this episode.
No, there's not.
You get this in these two-parters where I've never written on a TV show, although I'd like to give it a try, where you drop these things and the things
Yes.
are like bombs with fuses.
Yes.
And in a half an hour show, the fuses can only be so long because they've got to pay off in the second half after the title, the eye catches. And in two-parters,
Yeah.
not only do you make the fuses longer, but I think it's hard to judge how long the fuses are supposed to be because
I would agree
sometimes
with
you
that.
get things that drop that never get picked up. You just like set up a bunch of things. The last time they all got abducted, it's a UFO, during the Black Moon Clan arc.
Yeah.
I feel like they just like, oh boy, this is really, what's going to happen? This is tough. And then they just get on the UFO and it's like, all right, well, now there's all this action and we don't necessarily like track what was happening in the
Right.
first one.
No, not at all. And like in this, like I think the biggest fuse is that Usagi lost her brooch and now Kaori is threatening to grind it into the ground and to break it into
Well, we're going
tiny pieces.
to follow up on that.
Oh, for sure.
But we're never going to figure out if she's mad about the cake or not.
Oh, I'm sure, but she'll just be happy that she survived. She'll forget about the
Well, don't
cake.
make excuses for the show. I want to know how she feels about the cake.
Oh, okay, we'll put a pin in that.
It's a mess.
Ah,
Emerald
yeah.
slippers.
It's a mess, kind of like this episode. Just
Do you think it's a mess?
well, maybe it's not a mess, but it's just not. I don't. I want either A, more romance, or B, more action or romance action.
There's some good action.
Some,
But what I hate
but
about
the story
two-parters,
seems weak.
and especially the first part of a two-parter,
Yeah.
is that nothing definitive can really happen.
Yeah.
Let me dig into, this is going to surprise you, my history with Star Trek.
Wait.
To talk about the
you
fact,
like Star Trek?
To talk about the fact that you can do a good two-parter.
Yes.
One of the greatest two-part episodes of television in televised history is The Best of Both Worlds. The end of the third season and the beginning of the fourth season of Star Trek.
Right.
When Captain Picard is captured by the Borg. And the entire time, there's a little bit of foot dragging in the first half. But there's also some foot dragging in the second half. So they're consistent.
Yeah.
There's foot dragging in the first half, but a lot of it is setting up all the dominoes. We got to get them set up. And sometimes it's boring watching dominoes being set up. But once we get to the end of that episode, we know everything. We know the consequences of everything that's going to happen once the decision is made. And so at the end of that episode, and I'm not ruining a 30-year-old show, Captain Picard is kidnapped by the Borg.
Yep.
And he is turned into a Borg himself.
Which is bad.
And the crew didn't know that this could happen. So the next time they turn that view screen on, they see their hero and leader looking back at them, shooting a laser in their eyes and saying, give up. We're gonna take you over, assimilate you.
Right.
And this whole time they've been working on this weapon that can destroy the entire Borg ship if only use it, if they can have the guts to use it. And now their captain's saying, lower your shields and surrender. And William Riker, whose leadership qualities have been questioned throughout the entire episode up to this point, those are the dominoes,
Yep.
says, Mr. Worf, fire. So that's like, boom. And then
That's an act break.
3 months of your young life are just you sitting in front of a black TV waiting it to turn on again in September so you can watch the end of this thing.
Yeah, right.
And it picks up, and they don't just go, all right, more of the same. It's a totally different episode because it picks up and the weapon doesn't do anything.
Oh, no.
Which
right.
feels like an anticlimax. But
Yeah.
remember, you have to start from a low point to reach a new high point.
Right.
Because they realize that when the Borg assimilated Captain Picard, they get all of his thoughts and memories. And he helped them make that weapon. So they immediately made their ship proof to that weapon.
That's why the Borg are so dangerous.
And so the next part of the episode, the second episode, has a different structure, and it is not disappointing for that reason. It becomes another thing where they have to build up more tension and then reach a new, different kind of climax where they solve the problem. That's how you do a good two-parter.
Right.
Most two-parters are just, most episodes are 20 minutes, 22 minutes. This is a 30-minute episode, and we'll just put the packing peanuts in and then cut it in half. And that's kind of what this is.
It is kind of what it is. I do hope that that Act 2 or Part 2
There's a lot of
will be
cabbage in
better.
this burrito, this wrap or whatever.
There's a lot of cabbage, or if you have a parfait in Japan, there's a lot
there's
there's a lot of
cornflakes in this baby. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So that's all there is.
Yeah. So I'm kind of wondering, and usually the two-parters, they don't waste them in Sailor Moon. They're usually,
I don't feel like it.
They're usually you're turning on something important,
mm-hmm.
and I'm assuming this will be this is the peak, and now the second half of this season, like the second half of our show, will be a lot different. That being said, I don't know where we can go because Usagi already got one power up. Is she going to get like a new power up again? We're going to do that again?
I don't know. I guess we'll just have to wait and see when the Senshi get there. That's another thing. Like, I mean, she was able to call Luna, and then we see Luna telling the Senshi in this episode. Like, if she was able to call Luna and then the watch got thwacked away, and we don't see that the Senshi got that information, that might be even more of a cliffhanger. Like, did Luna get the message?
Yeah,
Does she understand?
But so often, one of our girls gets in trouble and they're going to get their head cut off or whatever. And then it's like, bah, bah, bah. Like we love those last minute arrivals, but you kind of expect them. It's like there's 8 minutes left. Rose is going to come flying out and get that crane ready, and I kind of like that we see them get the message, but and we can assume the next time we watch the show they'll arrive, but they don't arrive.
No, they don't.
For the end of this episode and to stop what's going on.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I think it is kind of a cliffhanger that Tuxedo Mask is he's a TMcicle at the end of the episode.
He's like when they bronze baby shoes.
Yes.
But don't they also put things, you can preserve them in lucite or whatever? It's like,
okay,
this is
sure.
I put my class ring in a block of plastic. That's what it is.
I put my boyfriend in some lucite. That's disturbing.
Because it's not ice, it's glass.
That's true. That is true. So yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping for more exciting things to come. I do like that Ray chastises Mamo because I think it gives us a little bit of an idea of what happened in their relationship. I think that that's really great.
For something that they added, they track it.
Mm-hmm.
They could have had for 2 episodes, she goes on a date with Mamo to make Usagi jealous and forget all about it. And yet they have continued to go back to this.
Yeah.
And they don't. We keep talking about the live action show, but good. It's a commercial for the Patreon. But we talk about how Ami was the sort of the first best friend.
Yes.
And so that bond is often referenced.
Yes.
And then in this we have, there's always this, I think Ray could be her best friend, but there's always this kind of tension. They're different. They have different personalities. Mm-hmm. They dated the same guy.
Yeah.
She's lazy. They're an odd couple. Mm-hmm. And I think that they can go together, like opposites attract.
Yeah, sure.
But sometimes that causes an interesting friction.
Yeah, I think it kind of causes a wedge between them a lot of the time.
Yeah, but it's good for character. It's good for the story.
Yeah, it is. And when Ray is sweet, it means that much more.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and when Usagi tells her, "What are you doing? Go after that scruffy man that you don't really love."
And we don't follow up on how she really feels about it.
Yeah, before he gets on that train.
Right, exactly.
We need more side characters.
Yeah.
Don't let him go.
I know. I want more side characters too. Or just bring back the ones we have, like Naru and Umino.
How would you describe Just Enough Trope? We are the Just Enough Trope podcast. I'm your host, Caliban, joined as always by my co-host.
Hi, I'm Mikan Hana.
Oh no, does this mean they can hear all the things I yell at the TV during Downton Abbey?
Why did you do that?
How do you plead?
Let the game begin. Yeah, check these fresh moves. Oh!
Don't shoot man in face.
This isn't the Save Gotham fundraiser.
It's the Chill Family Reunion.
Master Yoda assigned a Padawan to this bold Jedi.
I believe it's pronounced Padawan.
Oh, Padawan, excuse me.
Hey, it's getting late. I think Ralph's going to want his motorcycle back.
Go jerk off the pictures of Jean Grey.
I am freaking getting old.
Yeah, I noticed the life clock was blinking in your hand.
Get out of here, Wilson. Go fight the Teen Titans or something.
I'm unkillable, not unwoundable.
You like Sailor Moon, right? Why don't you sail on his
Oh, wow.
Just Enough Trope. News, reviews, and geek fondue
every Monday on the Just Enough Trope Podcast Network.
Love and me never have a say you sorry.
What?
For Kyoro Miru, or Curiously Looking Around, where we talk about elements of Japanese culture within the episode, today we're going to talk about celebrating birthdays in Japan.
Birthdays. Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis. Sorry.
So birthdays are recognized in Japan, but they weren't actually celebrated.
Stop. You're going to tell me that they don't have birthdays?
No.
Did Mr. Birthday come to Japan?
No, stop.
So you take the candles. And...
No, not exactly. I'll get it. There's a lie. No. There's no Mr. Birthday. Okay? So I want to clear that up right now. No Mr. Birthday.
This is rough for a kid to hear.
Yeah, but they weren't actually customarily celebrated until around 1950.
Oh my God.
So during the 1950s and after World War II, a lot of aspects of Western culture influenced Japan.
There is a Mr. Birthday.
Yeah, so prior to this, birthdays were celebrated collectively on New Year's Day. This is because traditionally people believed that everyone got another year older at the beginning of the new year, not the day that they were born.
Huh.
To this day, there is a tradition of adult relatives gifting children, including teens, with money on New Year's. This custom is known as otoshidama. And so there's kind of thought that maybe that might be a link to celebrating birthday, but it's still done on New Year's.
Yeah, okay, but you can't play this off on Izanagi here. Like, what? Why is that? Just their reckoning of the seasons or time or something like that?
Well, I think a big part of it should be noted that the custom of celebrating birthdays persisted for so long because Japanese culture tends to value groups by and large more than individuality.
That's taking it like all the way though. Like,
I know.
We have a calendar. I emerged into this world on this day.
Yeah.
Now it's a year later.
Right.
It just kind of seems natural.
Well, I mean, we'll get into it a little bit more, but by and large, like the way that we think about celebrating birthdays was not done until after World War II in Japan.
Yeah.
So in Japan, the person celebrating their birthday never plans their own party unless they are a kid, and then they have kind of more of a say in what they want to do. Kid parties typically consist of a small gathering, usually of just family members. This is typically done over dinner, and a birthday cake is a must. And a lot of times birthday cakes are store-bought. I think this is my assumption, but I think this might have a lot to do with the fact that a lot of Japanese kitchens don't have ovens. So it's just not practical to make a homemade cake.
So this is like you've got a range,
Mm-hmm.
but there's no oven beneath it.
There's no oven.
I've seen that.
They have like this. We've talked about it before. It's like this little thing that you can open up, and it's for like cooking fish. I can't remember exactly what it's
okay.
called.
Huh.
There are some people have microwave ovens that you can change the setting, and it can be used as an oven. People also often have toaster ovens, but like a large oven is just not something that you really see in most Japanese homes.
Yeah.
While they do have candles and blow them out, there is no custom about making a wish before doing so.
Right.
The birthday song is mostly sung in English, but it can be sung in the Japanese equivalent as well. The most common way of saying happy birthday in Japanese is otanjobi omedetou, which literally means congratulations on your birthday.
Okay, so if IDs existed before the 50s,
Mm-hmm.
what was that blank called? The day that you...
I think it was probably... Okay.
It's your birthday!
I don't... I
Shorty?
mean, yeah, right. It just wasn't...
Boy, birthdays were the
celebrated.
worst days.
I guess.
Nobody celebrated them.
I know. And it's... Okay, it's
I
not...
just kept trying to wrap my head around this.
Okay, but it's still to this day, it's not necessarily as big of a thing as like we do in the West.
Wow.
Because kids don't really have birthday parties with friends. That's not really a thing that they do in Japan.
What is McDonald's must be going bankrupt.
Yeah, I know. And you can, so you don't have like, a lot of times you don't necessarily have a theme for your birthday, or you don't necessarily go and do something, like you don't necessarily go to a movie or anything. It's dinner, a cake, and parents typically get their kids one birthday present. One.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm not really about the presents.
Yeah,
It's just
I
about
know.
Celebrating
And
your
they
existence.
right. And they might receive additional gifts from extended family members as well. But it's just not, it's like, it's small. And I watched this video from a woman who's a high school English teacher in Japan. And she said that she always knew when it was a kid's birthday in her class, because their friends would all get them a drink out of the vending machine or a snack from the konbini, and their desks would be lined with drinks and snacks. That's how you knew.
I'm the king of snacks.
Yeah, and like friends would like give them like little notes on like paper, but like you don't see a lot of birthday cards. Like it's somewhat challenging to find birthday cards in Japan. Like sometimes people will write people letters. There's lots of stationery, but like specifically birthday cards is not as big of a deal as it is.
I
in the
think they
West.
should keep going with this.
Okay.
You know?
All right.
Don't feel the pressure. You tried it for half a century. Clearly you're not into it. It's okay to move on.
Oh, wow.
Go back to just doing it once a year for everybody.
Okay. I don't know about that. I don't think that's going to change.
Write you a letter on your birthday.
As an adult, the person celebrating their birthday can definitely decide where to go or what activities to do, but it is customary that they do not do any logistical planning, like making reservations or inviting people. And it is also customary for friends to pitch in for the birthday person's food and drinks. So they won't pay for their meal. That's the kind of like their collective gift. And sometimes if you call ahead to a restaurant, because birthdays are often celebrated in nicer restaurants, like and let them know we're celebrating somebody's birthday, they'll make a cake just for your group.
Okay.
It's not necessarily free though. I don't think it's free. like we have free cake and stuff like that, and free dessert in the West and US. This type of party with friends is typically done a few days before or after the actual birthday, as the birthday itself is typically reserved to spend with a significant other. Like Valentine's Day, Christmas, and other Western-inspired holidays, birthdays in Japan have taken on a romantic sentiment. No wonder Usagi was so freaking excited, and boyfriends are more important than friends anyways.
Sure.
You know? Typically, Japanese people will go on a birthday date with their significant other, either spending the whole day or the evening together. Many Japanese women expect their partners to get them a special gift. Accessories are particularly popular because they can be worn daily and remind you of your significant other. I don't think thick glass slippers can be worn daily.
Hear the clattering.
I know.
As Usagi, here she comes.
Yeah, I know. Women will often reserve their entire day to be spent with their significant other to celebrate, and so most of them won't complain if they don't end up doing anything. Now, again, since it's their birthday, they're not supposed to plan anything. So
Yeah.
it's on the significant other to plan. So they won't necessarily be say anything, but they might secretly be upset and complain to their friends.
See, all this does is cause strife.
Well,
I'm going to celebrate the Japanese way from now on.
On New Year's Day.
No, yeah, right.
Okay,
And then
the old
October 10th
Japanese
is
way.
just sports and fitness day.
Sure, right. But like some women, if you like forgot it was their birthday, that would be grounds for breaking up with you.
Oh, okay.
So, basically, if you're dating a Japanese woman, don't forget her birthday ever. Like, no wonder, like, mama was in such hot water. And you don't need to get, like, an expensive gift if you're dating somebody who's Japanese. Just, like, cake and, something small, or just something to make the day memorable is great. Go to a restaurant that they really like, or do an activity together that you wouldn't normally do. But there are some birthday traditions or birthday related traditions that go back further in Japan. For instance, the emperor's birthday has been recognized or celebrated in one form or another for a very long time. And in 1868, it was made a national holiday, even though in modern times the date moves depending on who the emperor is. So now in modern times, they decided it will be the emperor's actual birthday, whereas before it's like this day will just act as the day where we celebrate it. It's not very exciting in modern times. It's like maybe it is for some people. It's like one of 2 days every year that they allow the Japanese public into the palace, and the emperor and his family will like wave in their fancy clothes at the people, and the people will say "Banzai," which is like wishing him good luck and his health, and they'll wave Japanese flags, and it'll last for 3 minutes. They'll send the people away. They'll wait, send more people in, come back out, wave again.
The day of 1,000 banzais.
Yeah, I mean, it's they want to get as much people in there as possible, but it's not super thrilling. And then he has like some speech that he will probably do that day that will be televised nowadays, anyways. And there is a Japanese tradition celebrated on a child's first birthday called isshou mochi. So babies carry mochi that is 1 sho, and sho is an old measurement, which is 1.8 kilograms or around 4 pounds. Isshou is also a homonym that means one's entire life. And the mochi typically has nowadays anyways, has the baby's name written on it in red ink for good health and a long life.
Huh.
The custom is symbolic of the parents' hope that their child will never be without food. I thought this was really interesting. The large round mochi, usually they're 2 separate pieces of mochi, and they're very big, actually represent both the boulder that sealed Amaterasu in the cave and the Yata no Kagami, or the sacred mirror, one of the imperial regalia of Japan. So the child carrying the mochi is supposed to symbolize the boulder being pulled away and Amaterasu coming out and the sun shining again and the rice being able to grow again.
That's a little baby Amaterasu.
Yeah. And the Yata no Kagami represents honesty and wisdom. The mochi is customarily carried in a furoshiki, or a traditional Japanese wrapping cloth. But more recently, it has become popular to use small backpacks. It's probably more practical too. The tradition of isshou mochi is slightly different depending on the region. In some areas, parents and grandparents are happy if a baby can stand on their own. But in others, there is a superstition that a child that can carry the mochi on their own will leave the home early. And apparently we don't want that.
With your good silver.
So some families in those areas actually try to make the baby wobble. I'm like, really?
Back of the knee, hit him.
Fumi mochi is another tradition where a 1-year-old steps on the mochi, which is practiced in some areas such as Kyushu. The belief is that strong legs can carry you throughout your life. So yeah.
Or hold up a piano.
Yeah, right. Another tradition is Shichi-go-san, which literally means 753. It is a traditional rite of passage and festival day in Japan for 3-year-old girls and boys, 5-year-old boys, and 7-year-old girls. And it's held annually on November 15th to celebrate the growth and well-being of young children. It's not a national holiday. It's generally observed the nearest weekend. So people either go to the shrine the weekend before or the weekend after. Mm-hmm. Its meaning is to celebrate the survival of children, because in the past people have lost their children due to poor health conditions. Until the age of 7, children were thought to be offspring of Japanese gods.
All children?
Yes.
What?
Yes. So like by the age of 7, now they're
Oh, now you're mortal.
Right, and now you're able to go to the shrine as a participant and that sort of thing.
Wait a minute. Roll it back. Children are thought to be the offspring of gods.
Yes.
So
well, I mean,
when do they...
all of the Japanese people are thought to be the offspring of gods.
This is news.
Yes, everybody in Japan, they're born from Amaterasu. They're
Oh, all right. But it's like a Lord of the Rings thing where it's like, Aragorn has elvish heritage, but it's like thousands of years back.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But you're just a little more when you're just a little kid?
Well, yeah, because I don't know.
Ride that cloud.
Pure of heart, I don't know. Maybe, like you said, they go after the children. I don't know. But Shichi-go-san is the melding of three distinct traditions that evolved during the Heian period, which was 794 to 1185, among the court nobles. All these traditions marked key steps in a child's development. At 3, boys and girls were allowed to grow out their hair. Like, baby hair was kept really, really short. Like, they would shave it. And at 5, boys were at 3, boys and girls could grow out their hair. At 5, boys were allowed to wear hakama, which are the pants worn underneath a kimono, for the first time. And at 7, girls changed the simple cords that they used to fasten their kimono for an obi. The ages 3, 5, and 7 are consistent with East Asian numerology. So basically, the odd numbers are thought to be auspicious or lucky numbers, by and large. There's a lot of speculation as to why these years specifically, and it could have been that there were specific rituals that were done at this time as well, that they were purified at these particular ages as well. But they're also just celebrating, hey, you made it to 3, you made it to 5, you made it to 7. You're doing good, kid. Today, the custom is celebrated by dressing up and visiting the local shrine. Typically, the children turning 3, 5, or 7 wear traditional clothing, although sometimes today they visit wearing dresses and suits. Girls wear kimonos for the traditional clothing. 3-year-old girls wear a vest called a hifu instead of an obi over their kimono to kind of help fasten it. While 7-year-old girls, of course, wear their rite of passage sash. 5-year-old boys wear hakama and a long haori or jacket. And I don't know if we've really gotten into it before, but traditional clothing is very expensive. So department stores and kimono shops typically offer traditional clothing rentals for Shichi-go-san. Many also offer options to style a child's hair and do their makeup.
That's just like, that's like a bad 80s comedian thing. Like,
so?
What's Genghis formal wear like in Japan? It's just black and white kimonos.
Oh my God.
It is? I quit. Boom. Just walks out.
There goes my joke.
Empty brick wall.
Families typically take a lot of photos at Shichi-go-san as well, either on their own or doing professional family photos in a studio. Coming of Age Day, or Seijin no Hi, is a Japanese holiday held annually on the second Monday of January. It is held to congratulate and encourage all those who have reached or will reach the age of maturity or 20 years old in Japan between April 2nd of the previous year and April 1st of the current year, and to help them realize that they have become adults. You are adults now. Welcome to adulthood.
Here's a tax form.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, not really, but festivities include coming of age ceremonies called Seijin Shiki that are held at local and prefectural offices. It's not as cool as a shrine, as well as after parties among family and friends. It should be noted that Japan lowered the age of adulthood to 18 in 2018, which went into effect or will go into effect in 2022. Coming of age ceremonies have been celebrated in Japan since at least 714 during the reign of Empress Genmei, when a young prince donned new robes and a hairstyle to mark his passage into adulthood. Many women celebrate this day by wearing furisode, which literally means swinging sleeves. It's a style of a kimono with long sleeves that hang down, and zori sandals. Many choose to visit a beauty salon to dress and to do their hair, and a full set of formal clothing. Again, it's very expensive, so a lot of times it's either borrowed from a relative or rented, then specifically bought for the occasion. And when I was in Japan in college, I was 21, so I did not get to take part in Seijin no Hi. I had several classmates who did, and I was very jealous because I wanted to wear a kimono too. Gosh dang it. So.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
So it's going from 20 to 18.
Yes.
Do you, in your readings, did you get an idea of why this is happening? Because what this means is this isn't like, like the age of consent or whatever, but it's administrative, right? Yeah. So it means that you are allowed to do things like get credit,
sure.
Take out a loan, a credit card, or rent an apartment or something like that, or get married, the administrative things. Why are they lowering it?
It's a fantastic question.
Because, I admit that, 18 is what it is in America for the most part.
Honestly, that's my first guess.
And so 20 is maybe a little antiquated, but it also, I always think about the, in predatory institutions, it means like we can get these kids on the hook for debt earlier.
Maybe.
Also, there are less kids now because there are less
that might be too.
Boards. We need to get these people into the workforce and get them doing things as adults earlier.
Well, that's kind of one thing that I did come across is Coming of Age Day has it's decreased in popularity in the last couple of years. And when they announced in 2018 that they were changing the age of when you become an adult in Japan to 18, that caused some confusion.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, now who is that day for? And then also, does that mean that skips some kids? Do they not get to celebrate it
they
now?
Got blipped.
Yeah, right. They got blipped. And like a lot of kimono shops were like, wait, what?
This is my whole year.
Yeah, exactly. I make my mint right now. And so they were very confused too. But there is a lot of speculation as to why else. Because it's like before that, it was kind of like some people who turned 20 were like, didn't necessarily feel like maybe they thought it was silly. Maybe they thought, I don't feel like an adult. So why am I celebrating becoming an adult? There's a lot of different reasons, but it was kind of like in the height of popularity in like the 70s. Like it was super popular in the 70s.
Well, maybe it's just sort of like,
it was still, when I was there in the early 2000s, it was very popular. And I know people since who have done it, and everybody looks so nice in their kimonos, and it's, looks like they're having a real fun time.
I should note too that this doesn't change when you can legally drink, or buy cigarettes, or gamble, or do any of the fun adult stuff. So
not age of consent.
It doesn't even mean anything. Well, no, the age of consent, that's like 16, right? That's already back there. So
it's like great guys, good job on that one.
They're figuring this out. So,
yeah, they just got birthdays not that long ago, so they're figuring out when people become adults. I'm sorry. I feel like that's mean.
Hey, speaking of days, I looked it up. So Sports Day, here's what Sports Day is. Sports Day is supposed to commemorate the 1964 Summer Olympics in Japan. Which, weirdly, started on October 10th, 1966. So got them in a little late. That's okay. And so it usually is like the second Monday in October, which is off. It's like Columbus Day, or Indigenous Peoples Day, which is often sometimes the 10th.
Right.
So I had to share my birthday with Indigenous Peoples Day. Was that hard?
Was that hard?
Yeah, and so on this day, it's exactly what I posited earlier. It's just usually celebrated by schools. You do like a track and field type stuff, but it's a lot of like silly stuff too. Because like we're not going to suddenly make people run a 4-leg marathon or something like that. So it's like 3-legged races or the cartwheels or something like that. And I saw that there was one where they make a stretcher with a blanket and like poles and then carry like an injured teammate.
Oh my God.
So they've got teamwork built into their competitive events.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
And then there's like a tug of war and the cavalry battle. And I was like, whoa, what's the cavalry battle? That looks up. It's chicken fighting.
It's chicken fighting?
You know, when you get on, usually like you put your girlfriend on your shoulders.
We talked about that before.
Yeah, keep us in.
Yes, it looks very dangerous. No, they like bat at each other and they climb on top of each other and they knock each other off. It's like, it's like capture the flag, but like you can do whatever the heck you want.
It's a chicken fight.
Yeah, it's
sports day.
It's terrifying.
That sounds awesome.
There's at least another.
I would gladly give my birthday up for sports day.
All right. They like doing things like this. They have at least enough. I was there one day when they were prepping, and I was there in the summer when I was there in high school. So I was there and they were prepping for some sort of like sports, like it wasn't sports day, but it was something similar to that. So.
And the ironic thing is, last year they moved, or for the 2020 Olympics, they moved the October date to July so they could do it during the Olympics.
Oh, okay, sure.
But then the Olympics didn't happen because of COVID.
Yeah.
And they did it anyway. So what, another 40, 50 years? Maybe they'll get another shot at doing it on the right day. But yeah.
Itadakimasu with Usagi. What did Usagi eat in this episode? So when Usagi is running by in the Juban shopping district, we see Michiru and Haruka are sipping tea in a cafe, at least one story up. We don't get any idea what the name is this time, unfortunately, but it's really pretty blue and gold tea set. There's a lot of food at Usagi's surprise party. Mako says...
It blew right through the tea.
Oh.
It reminded me of like, maybe this is like a Russian tea house or something like that.
It was totally could be.
Very elegant cups.
It was very elegant.
An elegant, samovar or pitcher.
Yeah, it was very pretty. I wanted it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And at Usagi's surprise party, there is a lot of food, and Mako says, "Eat up. I put my heart and soul into making this."
Pigs in a blanket.
Kind of hard to see exactly what it is. We do see that they have some sort of cola. It almost looks like it says Coke, but there's no E. And Usagi's cake, which I'm assuming Mako made because she's Mako, is super cute, and it's heart-shaped and has white frosting, and the border frosting is bright pink. And there's an oval piece. It's either chocolate or like a cookie in the middle that says Usagi-chan omedetou, and then there's a cute little bunny head on it too. Now, like in Japan, there's a lot of cakes that will have like this little piece of chocolate or a cookie, and then we'll have like chocolate writing on it, really elegant looking, like that. Like that's how they write somebody's birthday on it. It's not like
congrats on birthday.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I know it's congrats on birthday, but and I can tell that there are also sandwiches, and it looks like maybe some kind of cookie. I'm not entirely sure. And of course, they decide to eat the cake without her, which is just horrible.
Hey, you get jumped by a Yoma, you lose.
I guess so. Villain gauge, where you rate a baddie 1 to 5 stars, 5 being the most wicked. So the daemon in this episode is named Cenicienta. In Japanese, that's the pronunciation, Cenicienta. And we are saving this. We're saving the rest of this segment for our next episode because she's coming back, baby.
Yeah, I'm going to see her again.
Yeah. It's not very common that we see the daemon or...
A little hint, maybe it'll strike midnight and she'll turn into a raggedy...
A pumpkin?
Demon. Pumpkin, yeah.
Right.
To a pumpkin.
Yeah, exactly. Subu or Dubu, where we talk about the most interesting differences between the sub and the dub. In the dub, right after Usagi decides to find Mamo and ask him to buy the glass slippers for her, the scenes where there is a pan of buildings in Tokyo Tower, and then when we see see Haruka and Michiru having tea, and we see Usagi running past. Those are all cut. So the Cloverway dub went right from Usagi to find Mamo to her finding Mamo. So
All right.
Yep.
Neat.
Yeah.
It's just like they're just a problem. We don't ever know. Well, two cousins can't have tea together. Anything can happen when you share a teapot, cuz.
I don't know. They just decided it wasn't necessary or something like. I think it's a good bit of
what
color.
a wicked web we weave.
I know. Not a change, but I just wanted to mention that Cloverway actually kept the slap, which never would have happened in Deke. I mean, it's an important part of the episode, but it just wouldn't have happened.
It's violence.
It is.
But it's, woman on man violence, so whatever. That's their view, I'm guessing.
Probably.
Yeah, I mean, if he hit her, no.
That's
not saying it.
Yeah, they would be like, do we need to have this show on TV in America? Instead of calling Usagi Odango Otama or Dumpling Head in the dub, she calls her Moonface.
Okay.
Which is not an endearing nickname.
Meatball alert.
Yeah, see, I like Meatball Alert way better. To make matters worse, when Uranus and Neptune see Serena getting her pure heart taken, Uranus again calls her Moonface. So we got 2 Moonfaces in one episode.
Okay.
That's too many, in my opinion.
That's, yeah, I mean, again, this is the work of Cloverway, which is, what do you want from us, man?
We're late for a lunch break.
It's like the whole thing's in another language. I mean, what do you want us to do?
Actually try a little bit of effort.
Moonface, moon pie.
In the original, after Usagi says that Mamo is not no boyfriend of hers, Haruka asks if she has a chance with Usagi now. In the Cloverway dub, Amara instead talks about pursuing Darien.
Let me tell you what guys love. You gotta go in there and just rough them up a little bit.
No, she's gonna go after
wrestle
Darien.
around. Oh, right, yeah. And then I'm gonna take him out, to a motorcycle race, and we're gonna have some beers.
He might actually like that.
We'll talk about soccer, and that's I know what guys like. Like it just doesn't like it. It not only does it wrong, like it just goes the other way.
I know. I know.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like if they made it, instead of like her hitting on Usagi, it was like, I'm thinking about putting a dress on and going and talking to Darien myself. With my eyes cast down, of course. Like it's even worse.
It is worse. I don't understand why they feel like they have to push.
I tell you what to do, but I'm on my period right now, so I can't help anybody.
My gosh. Stop. I don't understand why they feel like they have to push like Amara and Michelle to be straight so hard.
Cut their reaction, keep the tea. If you're just looking to keep minutes in,
yeah,
right?
I know.
It doesn't. All right.
Anyways.
Look, this has been adjudicated. I think at the end of this whole run, at the end of S, we will put Cloverway on trial.
Okay.
So remember, take evidence, exhibit A through double Z, all their crimes.
All right. They do have another season after that,
Oh
but we
my
can
God.
put them on trial for us. That's fine.
Double jeopardy.
In the dub, the scenes of Haruka saying how cute Usagi is, Michiru saying that she could have a talisman, and Haruka saying that couldn't be, are all cut. Instead, the Cloverway dub shows Serena running because she was late for the study session, and then transitioned to showing Ray answering Darien's call.
Right.
Yeah.
Just cutting things out.
Yeah.
But like randomly.
Yeah.
Just like willy-nilly.
Yeah, just this part, but not that part.
Right.
We'll just change this part to be completely different.
Yeah, we'll just cut out, Darien just shows up with the shoes. We don't know how I got them.
Yeah, I know. I know. In the dub, at the end of the episode, a to be continued message was added, which was not there in the original. In the Viz dub, when...
Because American kids are dumb.
I think that's kind of what they're thinking.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That was the joke, but they're just like, turns the TV off. Well, that's it. Boy,
Yeah.
It's a weird way to end the series.
I know. In the Viz dub, when Minako hears that it's Usagi's birthday, she says, quote, "Oh, you're having a birthday? That means you're one step closer to death."
Wow.
Yeah.
Put that on a shirt.
Yeah, I know, right?
Which character was that?
Minako.
All right.
I don't know why she would say that. But
I don't know either.
yeah, it doesn't really make sense to me, but especially because she's usually so cheerful. Anyways.
The funny one.
Yeah, right. I do have a couple of pieces of trivia. This is the first episode where none of the Sailor Senshi show up in their transformed identities.
Yeah.
So that's kind of weird.
Interesting.
Yeah. And when Kaorinite confronts Usagi in Tuxedo Mask in the parking garage, the middle of Usagi's bow was colored gold as if she was still wearing her brooch.
Oh, okay. But no detail?
Right.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's tough.
Yeah, I know. You can't track it all the time. So now we are up to our rating. I like that the Senshi pretend that they don't care that it's Usagi's birthday and then throw her a surprise party. I also love that they're all reading books, and that should be like her first clue. Like usually it's just a me with her nose in a book.
You guys aren't this studious.
Yeah.
What are you planning?
Right, exactly. I know they're studying, but come on. I like that Ray chews Mamo out, even though it isn't completely his fault. I'm enjoying the juxtaposition of the daemon so far, her muscular physique and her squeaky voice. I think that was a highlight. Kaorinite knocking out the store clerk and just leaving her in plain view. It's stupid, but funny.
She could have just, nobody ever sees these eggs.
No.
And they, however they implant themselves into these, nobody ever sees this stuff. It happens right in front of people.
Yes.
And so, for some reason, just this time, Kaorinite needed to knock somebody out and not take their clothes. Sometimes we see people in bra and panties replicate their clothes magically or however she does it.
Right.
And then stand there for 2 seconds before the sliding doors open and it's time to give these shoes away. She could have just put the egg in and just been across the street in a phone booth.
But this is the most powerful daemon, and she has to put these glass slippers in his hands.
Okay, so this is like, I will do this personally.
I think so.
And he'll know if I didn't.
Yeah.
If I farm this out.
Yeah.
So, sorry, Janice. Smack.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, okay, I'll put that on. And then, okay, here he comes. Okay.
And now that
they
he's
cut the
coming,
bit where she's
I'll
like,
put it in.
"Oh, Cal ring this up. I don't know how this register works." And it's like, you know what? You just take it. We got a sale today. Just go ahead and take
it. Good point. Like she would know.
Maybe she's worked in a shop before. I don't know.
Oh gosh,
she hasn't always been collarbones.
Yeah, right. But I'm still like, this is just the show, so I should just accept it. But why do Mamo and Usagi still keep falling for like the villain's plot? Like they should know. They see something.
Apparently, they all have a prognosia, which is face blindness, because nobody has ever met anybody ever before, even though they've run into these people over and over again. Although we do see in the episode, and she's on the street in her red dress and everything, but Neptune and Uranus, or Haruka and Michiru, are like, "Oh, that's Kaorinite."
That's true.
So they know what she
recognize
looks
her.
like. Yeah.
Yes.
But like literally, these people just run into these people over and over again.
Mama's seen her before.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe he was just frantic because he forgot his girlfriend's birthday and she slapped him. But, it could have been more romantic, more exciting, and just kind of ends up like being a okay beginning to a 2-parter. So I'm going to give it 3 out of 5 roses.
That's where I landed too.
Yeah.
3 out of 5. I don't hate it. And
I don't hate it either.
It's one of those things where if I was able to, I'm not, according to the bylaws of the podcast, I'm not able to save my rating for, to rate both episodes together. This is one episode. As an opening act, it might be the perfect setup that I described with the Star Trek example, lacking the awesome revelation of Locutus at the end of that episode.
Right.
But it's not. And so the 3 is, the fun surprise party. The 3 is the fun new demon and the kind of general jiggery pokery that's going on.
Yeah.
But it's not a lot of these beats we've seen before.
Yes.
Usagi, being uncertain about her relationship with Mamo, which if you remember how the season started, I was promised a lot of uncertainty here.
Mm-hmm.
And we haven't really got that so far.
No.
And it's Michiru and Haruka, wondering if they can carry out their mission or not. It's like, all right, okay, lot of sizzle. Let's get to the steak.
And then it's like traditional like fairy tale being alluded to. I mean, we've already
That's on brand for the
I
show.
guess, but we've done Snow White and Sleeping Beauty, so now we're doing Cinderella.
Who's this? Yoma has a lot of hair. It's Rapunzel. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
Sorry to ruin Super S, but so yeah. Anyway, so like not bad at all. But because it's just an okay opening act, I got to go with the 3.
Yeah,
We'll see what happens in part 2.
that's right. My English title is Celebrate Youth, Dreams Romance.
Dreams romance.
Yeah.
That looks good on a shirt.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. That an oblivious Japanese person's like, I don't know what it says.
Yeah, exactly.
It just looks cool. My Cloverway title is Guilt Slip.
I don't get it.
Like Guilt Trip, but like
Oh,
but they're
okay.
slippers.
Oh,
And everybody is.
Okay.
Okay, I can kind of see Cloverway's point now. Why throw the pearls before the swine? They're not going to get it anyway.
Whoa.
Birthday blues.
Yours is better than Birthday Blues. Next episode, we are talking about episode number 102. Uba wareta piwa no kokoro. Usagi zettai zetsumi in Japanese. The Stolen Pure Heart. Usagi's Crisis. The English translation and the English title, Birthday Blues Part 2.
What if it was Birthday Blues Clues? And you're like, what?
I didn't see that coming. I know.
Wait a minute. Is that... Who's in that green striped shirt? Is it... Help, I never watched Blues Clues.
I didn't either.
Oh,
so
great.
I don't know.
So
People
you
are
were
really excited about
moved by that guy? That
I thought it was sweet.
bald guy coming back and going, hey, I want you to know I never stopped thinking about you.
I thought it was really sweet,
Please
but I was
follow
like,
please buy my NFTs or whatever.
oh, God.
It must have been, it was connected to something, right?
Yeah, I must.
He was doing that for a reason.
Oh, you think so? Okay, I don't know. I like to believe that it was great and sweet, but maybe not.
I know he's a cartoon dog, but Blue would be dead by now.
How dare you?
Told you I don't believe in love. But I do believe in following us on social media. And cynical, naked plugs for things. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. On Instagram, we always post every week the fashion looks from the show with Senshi Style.
Yes.
Showcasing how the girls look in the episode. Of course, nobody's wearing their costumes this one, but there's some new looks here and some new clothes.
There are.
So check that out on Instagram. We're also always talking on the Discord. Join us through a link in the show notes to talk about just whatever you want to, really. But
Yeah.
a lot of Sailor Moon stuff, a lot of nerd stuff, and kicking the can down the road conversationally.
That's right.
That's not a thing.
Well, that's the thing now.
It is now.
Yeah, we're making it a thing.
Kick that can.
That's right.
Conversationally. So you can find all those, of course, at Sailor Noob, or in some cases, Noob_Sailor.
Yes. And we do have a link tree, which is posted in our Instagram bio and on
Give us
Twitter.
the URL for that.
So the link for that is linktr.ee/sailor_noob.
Nice.
Yeah.
All of the Sailor Moon links and things to do are there.
Yes.
A place where links can hang out and do whatever.
That's right. Kick the can down the road.
Okay, look, I apologized already.
It's all good. Well, that's our show for this week, and the Name of the Moon will be punishing you next week with another episode of Sailor Noob.
Kick that can down the road.